Hello and welcome to today's Dalcroze experience. What you're going to see in this video is me asking you to do certain exercises, and then we're going to talk about what these exercises were. Now, they are very simple, and normally I wouldn't tell you what they're going to be about, but in this context it's different. So I'm going to tell you that it's about getting to know your space and understanding what pulse is in music. So let's just go ahead and do those exercises. Now, one thing that you are going to need to be is to actually be using socks or barefoot, because if you're not, then you're not going to feel the same, you're not going to have the same experience. Being barefoot is actually an important part of the Dalcroze experience. So take your shoes off and let's go. First thing I'm going to ask of you is to just follow the music and just walk around your room. Now, identify the different parts of your room that you want to go to, and then just take some steps toward those parts. Just seems maybe a little bit odd. Just walk around the room. So just, like stand up wherever you are, and just, if you want to go there, go there. If you want to go here, go here, over there. This is just to do that. Identify different parts of your room. Okay? So, now that you've done that, let's do it with some music. So now, how many steps are you going to take towards that part? Okay, now let's do another one. How many steps did you take each place? You notice? Was it 3, 4, 5? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Now, every time you walk, every time you take that impulse into your steps, remember, don't do it very lightly, like or heavily. Yeah, I think that's the word I'm looking for. Heavily. Don't do it like but try and feel like you're being pulled from this part of your shirt, so you actually are moving forward. Okay, ready? Now let's do it in a continuous stream. So just walking around and moving, and listen to the different speeds that I'm playing. now that you've done that, let's try, instead of walking, just clapping, because you might be walking a little bit too heavily for when you're doing the movement, but that's all right by now. Let's try now clapping, just clapping, but we're going to use Dalcroze hands. Now, when I talk about Dalcroze hands, it's not just clapping like this, but actually try to have your elbows point outwards and try to clap using giving your hands a certain direction. Dum, bum, bum. And look at where your clapping is going. Bum, 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 bum. Let's not do this one sitting down. Remain standing up, because that's going to allow you to be a little bit more connected. Remember, right now we're just clapping. By any chance, did you use that direction that I told you? Dum, bum, 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 rum, bum, bum, bum. Were you doing that? If so, good, excellent. Let's try that again. And this time, let's see how many times are you clapping each way. I can almost bet it's 4, but let's just check it out. Was it 4? All right. If that's the case, excellent. Now, this is just a small exercise about what walking and clapping is about. All right, so now let's talk about what we did in this very brief lesson. This is basically just one exercise or two exercises, or maybe one exercise divided into 2 or 3 parts. Now, remember what we did first. The very first thing was me asking you to just walk around your room and just identifying different parts of the room that you wanted to go to. Now, it's important that when you do this, and I would definitely ask you to do it again, is that you walk towards a place in your room and then stop. Recognize where you got, and I know it seems silly, I know it's a wall, but I'm walking here, I got to the other wall, now I'm walking backwards, and then I'm going to walk in a diagonal. Now I'm going to walk sideways. But all that part is so important for you to get to know the space that you're walking and how you interact with that space while you are doing these locomotions. Well, these ways of moving from one place to another, and that's called a locomotion. And then after that, I ask you to do it with the music. But at first it was just like bum, 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 bum. I did very instinctively. Dim, bum, 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 dum, 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 bum, bum, bum. And then I asked you, how many times did you step? So then you had to think about it. You had to remember. All right, so how many times did I step? And then we got to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not important if at the beginning you step 3, 2, or 4, or 7. The important thing is that after that you take conscience and you say, okay, so now I'm going to step 5. So then you are making that relationship between the music that you're listening to and your actual movement. And that's the important part, to make that connection. Once you have that connection, then you go about it trying to keep that same quality of movement. So don't don't get all robotic. Okay, once I know it's 5, normal, what happens is that the brain gets in the way and we begin going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have to get rid of that factor. We just have to continue with the first quality we had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can even count 2, 3, 4, 5. But it has to sound musical when you're counting. Another very and that's actually a very good way to practice it. And then you can say, okay, now I'm just going to step 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Identify where the way is. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. What are you doing with your arms? 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. How long is your stride? 2, 3, etc., etc., etc. That's what we do when we study movement. And then we went from stepping into clapping. Now, clapping as well as stepping is fundamental to everything we do in Dalcroze, because we do use materials afterwards, but we use our body first and foremost. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, when I said that I bet you would be doing 4, is because I had shown you already. So I had guided you towards doing 4 without me actually telling you go about it in 4. And I was playing, my music was in 4/4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, bum 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 bum, dum ti di da dum, bum bum bum, di di dum bum bum. So I wasn't playing music like bum 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 bum, di da da dum, and asking you to clap like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That would be just mean. And that's not what I did. I tried to guide you with my music to the right movement, and also a little bit with my example. But I didn't want to overdo it in the example, because I wanted you to find your own way of clapping. Now, there is actually a wrong way to clap. Very heavily and very static. Just remember to clap lightly and engage your whole body. Remember, always think heels, knees, core, hands, eyes. Bum. So you go boom with a big clap. Okay? Try and do this with me, please. Bum. 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 Now 4 each way. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now just 1. 1. 1. Now go 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and again 1, 1, and 1. That's it. Okay. So we were between walking and clapping, but we didn't do any reaction exercise. When I said, okay, when I say this, you do that. When I do that, you say this. And that's a very big thing in Dalcroze, but we'll do that in the next video. Bye-bye.